this NFT meetup, we have a very special guest. First, I would just like for you to know that if you can always go on to the EthBuilders Slack channel. We'll put a link there right after the meeting if you have any questions, as well as we will put a link to the Unlock protocol and any other social media that Julian wants to share with us as well. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Julian of the Unlock protocol. Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and take it from here, Julian.
Hey, nice to meet you, everybody. First, I'm going to apologize for a bit of the noise. The kids are back, and it's noisy. But my name is Julian. I'm the CEO and founder at Unlock Protocol, which I sometimes joke about is one of the OG protocols around NFTs. We've been doing NFTs way before it was cool, for about 3 years at this point. And we're doing NFTs in a fairly special way, or in a different way, because we're not doing NFTs for art. We're doing NFTs as memberships. And maybe I'll give you a bit of context on myself first before I go further on Unlock. I think everybody is more than welcome to ask questions. I assume this is a normal thing to do with this group. So please interrupt me if you have any question about the thing I'm going to say. Anyway, so yes, I'm a software engineer by trade, and I've been doing open web stuff for, I mean, at this point, close to 20 years. And one thing that I've realized over the years is that the open web is sick of its business model, mostly attention. It's much easier to monetize 1 billion people on a single platform. That's what Facebook does. Than it is to monetize that 7 billion people on 1 million smaller websites in application. And so in that way, this centralized web, or kind of the tech giants, are going to win, and they're going to beat Web 2 or even Web 1 or whatever like the web is today. And so that's something that I realized as I was building my previous company in the RSS world. I don't know if you guys know what RSS feed, but it's a syndication technology that's used by a lot of blogs, a lot of newspaper, a lot of media sites, a lot of e-commerce sites even, and everything podcast related. So anyway, at some point I sold Superfeeder, that previous company, to Medium, and I worked for Medium for about 3 years on a bunch of different things. Medium is the blogging platform that I think all of you might have heard of. And at Medium, I worked on a bunch of things, and I worked especially on the launch of the Medium membership program, which is kind of a paywall that Medium does. And one thing that Medium did when they launched it was, I mean, I was very surprised by the number of people that paid for it very quickly. And when we asked people like, hey, why did you pay for this? This doesn't make sense. Like, this feels like, you know, there's no content for you here. So why would you pay for this? People said, I care about the mission. You know, Medium is a great platform. I just want to support it. I want to be part of the group. I want to be a member of the Medium community. And so that made me realize, like, this thing that Medium had done, maybe there's a world in which that scales to every single website. Maybe every single website can, as easily as they, create a web page with an image on it, could create a web page with a membership on it, so that they could say, hey, some of the content, some of the features, maybe some of the toys that we offer are just for our community of members, our true 1,000 true fans, right? And so that's really how the idea of creating Unlock came about. It's like, how can we create a protocol for memberships? Obviously, from there, I didn't have much, and that's roughly at the same time that I rediscovered, I say rediscovered because I had played with Bitcoin very early in 2011, rediscovered cryptocurrencies. And what I dismissed as, well, yeah, it's a cool money technology, but not necessarily kind of a decentralized web technology. I mean, basically, I changed my mind because I was dumb to think initially that it wouldn't be used for the open web. And I realized, like, the thing that blockchain was for in practice was actually to build these decentralized protocols, to build systems that are unstoppable, that nobody can, come and say, nope, I'm going to shut you down, like it happens every day on the open web, unfortunately. And so I realized, like, blockchain, and especially Ethereum at the time, are very well built and very well suited to building these protocols as a way to kind of run software in a way that nobody can stop it, and it is completely permissionless and resistant. I also started to realize pretty quickly that not only was unstoppable, which is definitely a characteristic that I like and enjoy, it was also kind of, and maybe it's kind of related, it's the same thing, but like governable. There's a world in which, since there is no single person that has kind of a switch, maybe there is a system for multiple people to kind of collectively co-own, co-manage a protocol. And so that made me realize, like, well, if I'm building this protocol for membership, maybe I should use Ethereum. So far, so good. I would assume that this is, I mean, again, good because I don't have any interaction, but like, feel free to just interrupt me or tell me that what I say is bullshit or whatever. Cool. Oh, I see now the chat. Thank you, Claire. So basically, yes, realize that there's a way to build unlock on blockchain. Very quickly, thought about like, okay, what's the way to represent the membership? How do I know that somebody, I can screen share, but I don't have much now. I'll do maybe a demo a bit later if you guys want. But let me finish my thing and then I'll jump into the demo. The idea again is like, how do we represent these memberships, these membership cards? And so in the physical world, if you have a membership to some gym or you have an actual physical card, it's like, well, how can we represent the membership? Clearly, I thought that the ERC20 approach, like the currency approach, was not the right one. But the non-fungible approach, the non-fungible token approach, was probably the right one because my members card is unique. Some of them actually have my picture on it. And so basically using the non-fungible tokens to represent them was the way to go. So that's what we built. And maybe that's a good time to do a quick demo here. So I'm going to share my screen. Actually, let me make sure that it's ready-ish. Yes, share my screen. This will stop other screen sharing. I want to continue. So whoever is sharing right now will not be sharing after I share mine. Cool. And you should see now my wallet. Sorry, my web browser. And I'm using Chrome, which is a normal web browser, and I have MetaMask, which I assume all of you are familiar with. And here I'm using a demo that I like very much because they're a musician that created that page down in Mexico. And you know what? I'm going to share that page in the chat so that you can actually play with it as well. And it's a pretty normal web page. Like there's nothing magic about it. I did not log in. I don't have an account with that website. You can think of it as like just a musician putting streaming on their website. The challenge though is like they put streaming and you can only stream for the first 30 seconds. There's no way I can go beyond this because I'm at this point not a member. This is locked. And so what this person has done is basically they've added an unlock to their website. And so what they've done is basically added a little snippet of code that will allow me to unlock the page. So I hope this makes sense so far. What's pretty cool about this is they're using actually XDAI. So even though we're on the Ethereum mainnet, we're also on XDAI, we're also on Polygon. We'll soon be on some L2s, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Polygon, you name it. And so what I'm going to do here is literally pay that musician 1 XDAI, which, as you probably all know, is $1 for that music. I'm going to connect my wallet here. I need to pick mine. I'm going to just use MetaMask here, but I could have used Wallet Connect with some other thing. And the cool thing is like, oh, they're on XDAI. My MetaMask is connected to mainnet. So I'm just going to switch this easily in the middle to connect to XDAI. And right after this, now I can actually pay my membership with my wallet. And so I'm clicking here, and this is a very normal flow that you probably have all used, where I'm purchasing for 1 XDAI, which is $1. I'm actually going to send $1 to that person, plus 0.000111 fees to mine basically the transaction. And so I'm going to confirm this. And immediately, you might have seen this very quickly, but I can obviously close this. This little thing, which is a CD-ROM, yes, not ROM, a CD, starts to rotate, which is kind of a little toy here. And more importantly, I can now play 4 minutes worth of the music that this creator has put on their website. So I assume this all makes sense for everyone, but that's kind of the basic flow of unlock. Now let me show you something. Obviously, that person, I mean, by unlocking, I've received an NFT, and what I'm going to show you here is that NFT in my wallet. So I'm going to first turn off the music here because it's actually very noisy. And you'll see here I have a lot of memberships, obviously, because I'm the creator of unlock, so I'm using this a lot. But there's one membership somewhere. Wait, this is weird. Let me refresh. Maybe there's some took a little bit of time. Yes, that's the one here. Was mined about 10 seconds ago. And it's going to be vetted for about roughly a day, like 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 51 seconds here. And that's actually an NFT on ERC721. Unfortunately, I can't show it on OpenSea right now because OpenSea doesn't support XDAI, the network. But if this was on Polygon or on mainnet, you could actually swap it with anybody else on OpenSea and things like this. So I hope this makes sense. Really, that's kind of the gist of what Unlock is, allowing people to kind of unlock content, communities with people building bots for Discord, for Telegram, with people building integration in Decentraland, where you show up in a space, in a venue. It's actually a saloon in that specific example. And then once you're there, you are asked to show your members card. If you don't have the members card, you're basically not able to get into the saloon. So that's what Unlock is at its core, and that's the gist of it. Any questions so far?
Hey, you might have mentioned this, but what chain did you say this is on right now?
So this one is on XDAI, but we are on mainnet as well as Polygon, and soon, I mean, Optimism, Arbitrum, Avalanche, all of the L2s.
When you say mainnet, is that like Ethereum mainnet?
If you're mainnet, yeah, I should have mentioned this. Sorry, yes.
Hey, so I have a question. I noticed that all the memberships, they have an expiration date.
Yep.
Hypothetically, are you able to create a membership where there's no expiration?
So right now we don't actually have that, but that's one of the features that a few people have asked. So we're working on adding this. What we tell people is, like, if you want to create an infinite one, you can create one for 1,000,000 years, which for all intended purposes is as close to infinite, at least from a human perspective, as you can get. But we're definitely adding the ability to make them non-expirable. That said, the expiration, I think, is actually a pretty cool and unique feature. One thing that I love about this is, and again, we don't have a UI built for this, but it's actually possible at smart contract level. I could transfer my membership to you. So I would basically give you, yeah, that's a good question, Shane. So basically I could give anyone my membership, but actually more than giving my membership, I could give half of my membership to 2 people. And so now that I've actually a day of access to this music, I could give 24 people an hour. So I could split my membership in multiple smaller tiers, which might sound like why would we do that? I think there's a ton of, a lot of different use cases. One of the one that I love is, think of a paywall article you want to send to your friend. You know your friend is not a member of a specific publication. Well, you can send them the article along with 10 minutes worth of your membership so that they can read it, which I think is quite powerful. Another one, yeah, right. Another one that I like is the idea that as a musician, like a timeshare, yes. As a musician, you can definitely think of, I'm going to sell by the minute membership, but I'd much rather sell kind of year-long memberships, right? And so I imagine at some point there's going to be some, I call them the blockbusters. I don't know if this is the right way to think about them, but like people are going to buy like, 100 years worth of an upcoming musician. And then they're going to sell by the minute, by the hour at a much higher price than the 100 years divided by minutes or something like this. And so this way they can actually make a profit by acting as curators. They purchase memberships to musicians, to artists, to creators ahead of time, and then go and sell the smaller subunits of times to people that are interested in listening to that specific music. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's cool, because that was going to be actually like a follow-up question, if you could actually like rent out, or I don't know about lending, but like
yes.
Fractionalize, basically. That's what you like.
Yes, so fractionalize is definitely something that you can do. You asked about lending. That's actually also one of the features that we have, which I think is very unique in the NFT space. Not so much the idea of lending. Actually the idea of lending. We've built, so a normal NFT, like, an NFT for art, you only have you have 2 roles on the contract. You have the minter and the owner of each individual NFT, right? Inside of Unlock, when you think about one NFT, we decouple things and we say an NFT can have an owner and a manager, and these 2 people can be different. So I can own an NFT, it's linked to my address, but that NFT, I could not be the manager. And the manager technically is the person who has the right to transfer that NFT. So why is that useful? Why is that fun? If I own something, I want to be able to transfer it. Yes, but I could lend it to you. So basically, if I want to lend it to you, I would retain the manager role and then assign it to you as the owner. So you would own it from the software perspective, from like, the website that you would go to is like, hey, yes, I'm the owner, but I'm the manager, which means that at some point I can take it back from you without having to trust that you're going to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
And so that's one of the things. Another cool thing that enables, obviously, which we haven't seen, but I hope we will see at some point, is it allows for, collateralizing the NFT. So in that scenario, basically, you say, hey, I am the owner of the NFT. but I'm going to transfer the manager role to some kind of contract who's going to basically act as a collateral. I mean, basically, so that my NFT can be a collateral. And so that contract is going to lend me money, provided that I pay back my loan, on a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever what the agreement is. And if I stop doing it, the things they have the manager role, they can capture the NFT from my wallet. They can take it and make it theirs at that point and sell it or whatever they want to do with it. Make sense?
Wait, hold on. Can you say that? Can you say that part again?
Yeah, so it's the idea of splitting whoever owns the NFT from whoever manages and has the right to transfer it. So assume I have a very expensive NFT in my wallet, and I want to borrow money against it. Like I want to collateralize it, right? I would say, hey, this is worth $1 million. I want to borrow it, but I want to kind of keep it in my wallet, right? So that when I go around, I can show people like I have it. Well, with Unlock, it's actually by splitting the ownership from the transfer right, I can keep owning it, but transfer the transfer rights to some contract that's going to lend me the money as long as I repay my loan or whatever that is, my mortgage. And if I don't do it, since that contract has the transfer right, they can take it they can seize it basically and say, hey, you're not paying your loan back. We're going to take your NFT. And in that world, basically, that allows me to kind of collateralize an NFT, like in the same way that you collateralize, on DeFi, you collateralize ETH for something. And here you can say, hey, that NFT, it's still mine, it's still my wallet, but I've transferred the transfer right so that if I don't repay my loan, wherever, the bank in that scenario can capture it from me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So that actually leads to a question then in terms of, I'm trying to compare this to like essentially like a house, right? If you
that's exactly
go for a
right.
mortgage, you put your house up for as collateral to get a loan.
Yep. And if you stop paying,
at some point,
yeah,
you essentially get foreclosed upon if you don't pay, right?
Yep, exactly. The bank has the transfer right.
For the
yes.
So are you saying with the Unlock protocol, you keep it no matter what?
So you don't keep it no matter what. You keep it, but if somebody else has the transfer right of your NFT, they can transfer it to themselves or to somebody else if you stop paying back your loan in that way.
Right. So they have like all control of the transfer rights, but it's still technically in your wallet, right?
Exactly. It is still attached to your address, but they have the transfer right. And obviously you don't have the transfer right, so you can't really transfer it to
Interesting. Okay.
And so that allows you to kind of, again, collateralize this. So that's one of you're asking the question about lending, but that's one of the ways I think that lending can be useful.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of other cool things, at the core protocol. So one of the things that I love is we have hooks. So thank you for posting the link here. We have hooks, which is basically a way to kind of trigger actions when when basically somebody purchases a membership, right? So when a purchase of an NFT happens, the smart contract owner, the person who deployed the lock, could make something else happen at that time. And so one of the cool things that I hope people build, people have built actually, but I want to see one scale, is creating a bundling curve so that every time there is a membership sold, the price goes up or the price goes down, or change the price basically. So that I think is a cool way of kind of triggering different actions happening on the NFT, right? You could also make it so that it's kind of a bunch of thresholds. So you say, hey, the first 10 NFTs are going to be 5, the next 10 are going to be 10, the next 10 are going to be 100 or something like this, and so that you can actually easily create that with Unlock. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Like now you're starting to blow my mind, but
cool. Well, thanks for saying this. That's the kind of thing that we've been working on. Cool.
Sorry to ask a second question, but
no, don't be sorry. That's why you were here.
Most of the use cases you've been talking about so far have been like monetary transactions, like purchasing access to a song or a ticket, blah, blah, blah. You mentioned DAOs a bit earlier, and I just joined a community today that's trying to token gate the DAO. And would Unlock be good for that use case? Like we don't want to charge people. We'd like to vote people in, for example.
Yes, definitely. So the lock contract has 2 ways of minting a membership. Either through a purchase, so somebody can purchase, and when you create the lock, you set the price, and you might say, and you also set the number of purchasable memberships, So in the context of your DAO, you might say either set a very high price and then nobody can really purchase the thing, or you can say, hey, no, we're not going to sell any. And then the other way memberships can be created is by being granted. So the lock itself has managers who can actually grant memberships for free, obviously, to any address that they want to have a membership for. So in your DAO, you can definitely say, hey, we are a bunch of members. The membership is set by whoever owns the NFT. And the DAO contract, which is governed by the people that have the token, is also the owner, the manager of the membership contract, so that it can mint more memberships for the people that are joining later.
That's awesome. So it's like a kind of like a role-based access
Yes,
control.
absolutely. I mean, it's great that you say this because I'm a software engineer, and when I initially framed Unblock, I was like, oh, this is an access control protocol. And people are like, what the fuck is this? So yes, it's absolutely an access control protocol for the blockchain. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Of course. I want to go back to the keys and George's question about like the lending things, because there's actually one more thing that we've done, which I think is pretty unique as well. And I'm going to share another link with you guys and gals, actually, I should say, which is my blog. I mean, you don't have to buy a membership, at least not right now. Sorry, I'm going to put the full link here. And I've added a membership to my blog so that only my members can read my content. It's kind of a dummy paywall. It's like $5 a year, so it's pretty cheap. And I usually tell people, if you get a membership, next time you come and meet in person, I'll pay for coffee or whatever drink you fancy having in the morning. But one thing that I've done on my blog, and I'm actually going to try to show you this, is in the incognito window, is I've enabled one of the key features of Unlock, which is credit card support. And so you're going to be like, what, credit card support? Yeah, basically that website, if I'm not a crypto user and I don't have a crypto wallet, how can I pay for access to this? Well, as I said, we built credit card support, and that's actually pretty simple. We have a system, and again, I'm not going to go through this here specifically because I would have to share my credit card number with you all, which I don't want to do, but there's a mechanism to pay with card. And when you pay with card, you put your credentials here, like you would do on pretty much any other website. Again, not going to do it right now, but you can do it. And what happens here is actually really important, and I think very unique in the crypto space, is that when you put your credit card number here, Unlock Inc., so not the protocol, obviously not on-chain, is going to charge your card, obviously. And then we're going to charge your card a bit more than the $5 that it's going to cost, because there's a bunch of costs associated with the credit card. And then what we're going to do is, like, once we've bought the card, charges the card, we're going to buy the NFT and assign it to your address. So what happens here is, like, the purchaser of the NFT doesn't have to be the owner of the NFT. Remember what I said about the roles? Like, there is the owner of the NFT, there's the manager of the NFT. Well, we also have the purchaser of the NFT. Most of the time, the purchaser is the owner, is the manager. But in some cases, like when people want to pay with card, we are Unlock Inc., the purchaser, and then the owner is whoever purchased it. And so what's really cool about this is, like, it allows us to support credit card purchases in a way that first is safe, and I'll explain what that is, and then also is usable for people with crypto wallets. So if you don't have XDAI, for example, you show them, it's like, oh, I don't have XDAI on the XDAI chain. You could still buy with credit card, and you will get the NFT in your wallet, basically, on XDAI without ever purchasing or caring about the XDAI cryptocurrency. Does that make sense? Crickets. I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, of course.
Can you repeat that one more time, at least at the tail end? I'm sorry, Julian.
Yes, of course. No, definitely. So the roles on the NFT, there's the two that we discussed earlier with George, right? Like the owner and the manager. Make sense? I'll assume yes. They're the third one, which is the purchaser. It's the person who purchases the NFT. Most of the time, it's the same person that does the three things, right? Like if I go here with my wallet, I'm the purchaser, I'm the owner, I'm going to be the manager. But assuming that some people not have a crypto wallet, we allow them to purchase with credit card. And what happens here is, like, we charge their card, and then we purchase the NFT on their behalf, not with their wallet, obviously, but we assign, if you want, we send the transaction, and then we say, hey, this is not for us, this is for whoever is purchasing with a credit card. Does that make sense? A bit more-ish?
So the purchaser has all of the rights of, like, an owner that would have minted it to himself.
So not all of the rights. They're not the owner. First, they're not the owner. They do keep the manager role most of the time, but they could also forfeit the manager role and give it to somebody else, especially the owner of the NFT.
But I mean, like the purchaser would have access to the song, for example.
No, because they pay for this, but they immediately assign it to somebody else. Like it's, when you go buy coffee, I mean, let's say we're together and we go to Starbucks. You can pay for your coffee, I can pay for mine, but I can also pay for your coffee, and then the barista is going to give it to you. It's not going to be right, and you're going to drink it, even though I paid for it. And that's what's happening here, right? It's like basically we pay for it, but you get the NFT in your wallet right away. We just have off-chain charged your card.
Right.
So it's almost like you give me change. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, the purchaser then reaps the benefits of having the NFT, right? Like they could access the blog.
No. It's like, I don't drink your coffee if we go together to Starbucks, right? Like you keep your coffee. It's like, say we go to Starbucks and they only take cards. So you give me $5 in cash. Yeah. So you've paid me. Now I pay with my card $10, 5 for me, 5 for you. You get your coffee. I'm not going to drink your coffee. You're not going to reap the benefits of your coffee, and I'm going to drink mine. And so that's exactly what's happening here. We don't actually purchase a coffee for ourselves, but we purchase the membership for you, and it's yours. Like it's not ours. Like we immediately send it to you, and it's yours. I think I've lost you.
Yeah, no, I think we're saying the same thing. Like if I use my credit card here on this page.
Yep.
I will, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. I won't own the NFT, but
yes,
I
you will. You will own the NFT. Yeah. You will actually own the NFT.
Okay. Not as a purchaser?
No, because you're not the purchaser. I am the purchaser. I mean, the credit card processor.
Okay. I got
you're the owner. The purchaser is the one sending the transaction, and you're the owner of the NFT.
Gotcha.
So you should be the on-chain purchaser. We're the on-chain purchaser. You're the credit card purchaser, obviously, but we're the on-chain purchaser. And you're the on-chain owner and the credit card purchaser.
I see.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Also, to make it safe, because obviously, let's say you've stolen that credit card, you could purchase the NFT with credit card. I mean, you could pay us with your credit card. We purchase the NFT, you get the NFT, and then you would sell it to George for crypto. And after this, you call your bank and you say, hey, not my credit card, please reverse the transaction. We would be screwed because we paid for this. And then you got paid by George, but we don't have the NFT that, so when you pay with card in practice, by default, we retain the manager role. We basically say, hey, sure, it's going to be you. I mean, you can use it on the website as much as you want, but until some later date, and I'll explain this a bit later, we're still going to be the manager because we don't want you, Claire, to run away and sell the NFT to somebody else. Makes sense?
Yeah, so you're stuck with it.
I mean, not me. I mean, you're stuck with me, but yes.
Got it.
The idea, though, is like if you want to take it and sell it to George, it's easy. You can just come to us and say, hey, all right, cool. Now I'll pay you in crypto for it, and you will reverse the credit card. So basically, you say, hey, I'll pay you $5, pay the purchaser $5. The $5 then goes to the credit card transaction and say, hey, we'll reverse that transaction. So you're basically getting refunded on your card, and then you get the full ownership of the NFT, which now you can sell to George.
I'd love to see a chart of this.
Yes, it's a bit complicated. I don't have a chart. That's the thing. But yes, it's the idea. It's we need a chart to make it a bit easier. But it's the idea that you own the NFT, but you don't own the transfer rights until we know that your charge is not going to get charged back.
Got it.
And credit card transactions, believe it or not, are reversible forever. They're actually never considered final. We learned this, which is kind of really crazy, but you can go 5 years from now and call your bank and say, hey, this thing that I made 5 years ago, that wasn't me. Please revert it. And odds are the bank is going to try to revert it for you and probably succeed in a lot of cases.
Good to know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but yeah. So that's also one of the cool features of Unlock. Any other question?
Yeah. Are there any use cases for Unlock that you haven't seen yet, but you would love a chance to see?
Yeah, definitely. One of the one that I love to see is like in games. Think of like the in-app purchases, right? You're playing a game. I'm playing chess on my phone a lot. I mean, everybody does this in the crypto space. Chess.com. I mean, that freaking membership, I pay like $5 a month to get some tricks and learn to be a better player. I wish it was an NFT. I wish there was kind of a, I unlock chess.com, $5 a month, or whatever cryptocurrency they decide to use on Ethereum. And then I have this in my wallet that shows this. Where this is really cool is like now my chess.com membership is not just on chess.com, it's in my wallet, which means that I can show up on some other random chess thing and they say, oh, you're a chess.com supporter. Why don't you come play with these people that are also chess.com supporter, right? My membership is now cross-platform. Actually, let me show you an example. So I talked about my blog and I think that's gonna make sense. So I'm gonna try to do something crazy and I hope it's gonna work. So I'm going to use a virtual cam instead of using my real camera here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then just use this and then switch here. And I don't know if this is going to work. Hopefully it will. Yes. Can you see at the bottom of my screen here? I don't know if you can all see that.
Yes. Little icons?
Yes, the little icons. These people are my blog members. So basically, if you purchased a blog membership right now from me, you would be one of these little squares. And why I show this is exactly what I just said in the chess.com example. The membership is not tied to a specific application or platform. Like my blog is a website built with Gatsby, which is a static site builder. It's its own thing. The memberships are on the XDAI chain, which means that I can take these memberships and then bring them other places. For example, I can bring them in a Discord bot and say, hey, only my members are going to be able to chat with me on Discord. Or I can bring them in my virtual webcam, which is what I do here, and show their pretty faces here. Some of them actually have their actual faces instead of the kind of blockies. And it's the people that have their ENS avatar set up. Does that make sense? Or everybody's like, what the fuck is this?
Repeat that one more time. I'm trying to digest that myself.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, everybody.
No, it's cool. Don't worry. Of course. So remember, my blog has this membership, right? People can go purchase it either with their crypto wallet or with their credit card. When they purchase it, obviously, they have an NFT that's stored on the XDAI blockchain, right? It is not stored on my website itself. I don't have a database. It's not stored anywhere special on my site. It's stored on the blockchain, which means that my blog can go away. These membership will stay. But more importantly, I can bring these membership into other applications. And so, for example, I can bring them in a Discord or a Telegram group where I say only my members are going to be able to participate, right?
Okay.
I can also bring them in my webcam. I'm using here a virtual webcam, which is basically a thing that allows you to kind of overlay content on a video stream. And I can actually bring them into my webcam stream and show them here. And that's actually what I'm doing here. All of these little icons are my blog's members.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty
awesome.
Does that
make sense? Yeah, right? And it's funny because I don't do it right now, but somebody gave me the idea of this, so I'm going to have to do it, is like, I could show them like more or less gray based on how expired their membership is. Because a few of them have had a membership for a little while now. And so theirs is pretty almost expired. It's a 1 year long membership. Some of them is more like 6 or 8 months. So I should show them in little gray or maybe even smaller, while the other one, the fresh one, I should show them big or something like this. Make sense?
Yes.
And so going back to your question about like use cases that I haven't seen much is like really the idea of leveraging memberships from a platform into a different platform. And thanks, Texas, for sharing the links. Yeah, Radial is cool. Yeah, so that's the idea. It's like leveraging the membership from a platform into another one. We spoke with a group of French rappers who were thinking about doing a negative membership, where basically they say, hey, if you're, and I think rappers in the US is the same as in France, they contest, like there's like different, how do you call this, factions, like different kinds, and they don't like each other necessarily a lot. And so they would say, hey, we'll do the streaming thing that you've done on this website, but it's not so much that we want to have our own membership, that we don't want to allow people that have somebody else's membership to listen to our music, which I think is actually a pretty cool idea. It's like almost the West Coast rappers don't allow the East Coast members to listen to their music.
That is awesome.
And so what it actually,
I love the idea.
Yeah. What's funny about that one, I think, is the fact that it now creates kind of economic incentives for me to sell my East Coast rapper if I want to listen to the West Coast rapper, which I think is actually pretty interesting because it creates kind of liquidity in an unexpected way.
That's crazy. But that's the second time in my life I've heard about negative memberships. And the idea of using, okay. No, that's very interesting. But yeah, sorry.
Oh, of course.
Hey, Julie. You made me think of a question when you
Of course.
said the set the grayscale based on the expiration date.
Yep.
It made me think, are you able to have different membership tiers and then maybe
Absolutely. Yes.
do the same thing based on how much they pay?
Yes. So on my blog, I put just one, and it's the single membership, but I could definitely have kind of a platinum membership and a gold membership and a bronze membership with different benefits. But more interestingly, I mean, these are interesting already, but like I could have a bundle membership. So say, George, you have a blog, I don't know, you have a blog and you want to create your own membership and you might create your own. But at some point say, hey, you know what? I think Julian's members are cool people. What if I give them access and recognize them as members of my community as well? And so on your blog, you would put two memberships, yours and mine, so that when a visitor shows up, if they are members of mine, they would be able to access your content. And better, you would actually even know that they're members of mine. You say, hey, I love Julian, of course you do, and I want to give you access for free because you're a friend of Julian's.
Nice. And I guess you could do the same thing with discounts too, right?
Absolutely.
Like exclusive merch or whatnot.
Exactly. I mean, yes, absolutely. There's actually somebody who built a plugin for Shopify for Unlock, where it's, I mean, for me, the idea is like Amazon Prime is the biggest membership of all, right? So if I have as a Shopify seller, I could have my own membership, or maybe a membership with a bunch of sellers that are in the same area, or, you know, share some values with me. We could create one thing, and then when somebody shows up on any of our stores, we give them discount, we show them access to kind of a secret catalog or anything.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Hey, Julian, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've been bouncing in and out of the room here, so maybe you mentioned this before, but a thought crossed my mind when you were talking about in the unlock protocol. So back in the day, I would use, say, cloud storage in an example of, let's say I'm in two different locations. This would be regarding, say, film production, but it could, you could make it with a lot of different things, music production, where you've got people in, you know, one's in London, one's here in New York, and then one's in LA, and you're using cloud storage in lieu of sending hard drives back and forth for maximum security and privacy. Could you do a similar thing as you mentioned with the music, where, but instead of paying for it, could you make the wallets free but exclusive to a set of people that then want to use it to, say, preview music for an edit or something like that?
Yes, you could. Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, a bit similar to Claire's question earlier. You can, instead of charging for them, you can basically, Unlock is not a protocol about making money, right? It's definitely useful to make money as a creator, but it's an access control protocol. So it allows you to kind of easily identify who are the people that can access some or not the people.
Yeah, this is not about this is not about making money. This is about utilitarian.
Right. Yes,
so
exactly.
You can set up the process without the pay
purchase aspect. Yeah, exactly.
And but you could limit it to, say, a half a dozen people or 3 people or a dozen people, and no one else but those people, unless they share. I don't know, what is it? Is it a key then?
It's an NFT. So if they have the NFT in their wallet, they can access. If they don't have the NFT in the wallet, they can't access.
So they could come to me for that NFT access.
Yes, exactly. You give them the NFT. What's interesting in that scenario, you would want to retain the manager role. So this way they have the NFT, but they cannot transfer it.
Exactly.
And then this way, basically, you give them access to some content because they have the NFT in their wallets.
Is there a link to, say, whether it's a YouTube or a whatever, a source where I could drill down on that?
Our docs, docs.unlock-protocol.com. But honestly, I mean, we have docs. They are not great. So feel free to reach out to our Discord. So on the Unlock website, you'll find the link to Discord. Reach out to me there, and I'm more than happy to guide you further.
Oh, great.
Of course.
So that would be, is that the website link?
Yes, click on the website link, and then at the top there is it's called Discord, it's called Community, I never remember. We just changed the website.
Oh yeah, okay. And I can get a hold of you there. Okay.
Yes, exactly. You're gonna have to use unlock there, which is pretty cool. You're gonna have to unlock some of the channels once you join, but ping me there, and I'm more than happy.
Well, I like the idea. I must say, I like the idea of, because again, back in the day, back before there was DRM was still in question. So I'm going back maybe 2010 to 2015. We were using the cloud storage, but in a private manner.
Yep.
For just that purpose, for editing across countries and whatnot. And I like the idea of music previewing and whatnot.
Yes.
Because it's a little more immediate, perhaps, say. And again, whose server is that information on? So
that's actually a thing, right? We're just providing the access control layer. The server itself has to be either yours or somebody, like somebody has to provide the hosting of files. That's not what we do. Does that make sense?
So the NFT would either be in a MetaMask type of where they're holding the key, or it could be me, and I have a little, server at home or something, and and that's why I'm in control of it. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thank you.
And you're saying that Unlock is one of the few doing that now.
I think we're pretty much the only one doing it like this. But again, like I don't know everything, so maybe there's some other thing that actually exists. But we're one of, if not the only one that actually does this. Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much. I'll come back.
Of course.
I've been cruising through your docs. I see you have kind of some cookbooks down in the tutorial section.
Yes.
Kind of bouncing off what the previous person just said about functionality. In the DAO situation, like if you don't want the payment entry point, I see there's like an organizing a vote by members, and they're referring to like a third-party snapshot.
Yeah, basically, so you can use the snapshot. I mean, so unlocks NFTs, the membership NFT are ERC-721, which is the NFT standard format, which means that it can be integrated with any tool that actually supports ERC-721s. And Snapshot, which is this voting tool for DAOs, actually does support that. So that, yes, that works right out of the box.
Awesome. So like, I guess if you're wanting to like extend the functionality of Unlock by adding kind of like a pre-issuance condition check, that would be like a separate contract, or is that?
No. When you say a pre-issuance check, can you clarify this a bit?
Oh, well, like, yeah, Snapshot is here, but say we wanted to like design our own voting mechanism for our.
Yes. Then you would have to, create the logic of identifying people based on whether they have an NFT or not, and allow them to do certain things.
Okay, and that would connect to Unlock how, like via hook or?
No, probably directly via the RPC providers on chain. You would read from the contract whether somebody has an NFT in their wallet. So basically, the first step would be to identify their addresses, their Ethereum addresses, like connect your wallet kind of situation. And then once you do this, your server or your front end, depending on what you want to build, will just basically check whether that specific user address matches a membership on the lock contract.
Very cool.
I think so.
And have you done any Discord integrations? I see that there's.
Yes. There's two actually. There's one that is Collabland that is pretty famous and popular in the space, and the other one is actually, I like it maybe even more. It's called Sortybot. It was built by one of our community members, and it's the one that you're going to use if you join the Unlock Discord, because we ask you to unlock a free membership to access all of the channels.
Oh, cool.
So Julian, are there any current projects right now that are out on testnet or mainnet that are using it? You mentioned a few earlier, but are there any other ones that you were actually kind of surprised how they're using Unlock, but you really like? Or just some really like inventive ways, or some interesting ideas that you didn't necessarily even think of yourself in terms of using Unlock?
Honestly, the one that blew my mind is the Decentraland integration. I did not expect that, and it's a really cool one. Where again, you go into Decentraland and there's spaces that you can't access unless you have the membership card. So it's kind of like private club kind of situation. And I did not expect that one, so I was actually pretty blown away by that. We've seen a bunch of interesting ones. Like one that I love is the MyCrypto crypto wallet that you probably know of. It's mycrypto.com, if I'm correct. .org, mycrypto. Actually, mycrypto.com, yes. And basically they're crypto wallets, and they have a membership, so you can support their work by purchasing their Unlock, their membership, and it's actually powered by Unlock, which I think is pretty cool there. Does that make sense?
No, definitely, definitely.
There's a lot that, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can.
There's a lot of things that I'm actually pretty excited about in the DeFi space. I know you guys mentioned sushi a bit earlier, but I know somebody's currently building kind of a, not a, yet another fork of Uniswap, but like kind of a permission pool. So think of it like, instead of paying 30 bips in fees every time you transact on a pool, you could have a membership to the pool. And so it's kind of like, again, I mentioned Amazon Prime earlier, but it's like you have the membership to the pool. It was like you pay, I don't know, $100 a month or a year. I don't know what the price is, but that's the idea. And then you basically don't pay fees ever. So it's like, instead of paying every time, you pay once upfront for the membership, and then the pool basically doesn't charge you for this, which I think is a very interesting model, because for liquidity providers, it provides kind of a more recurring, stable revenue, rather than have kind of a lot of revenue on days where it's spiky. And so I think that's quite interesting. And then for users, it means that now it's much more, it gets cheaper to transact a lot. So if you're trying to kind of, always be as close as possible to market and kind of day trade with crypto, it's actually a pretty cool incentive and mechanism to pay for the membership rather than pay for the atomic fees on every single transaction. Does that make sense? Yes. Lamont, I think that was you asking, right? All right. Any other question?
Have you seen, you kind of mentioned Unlock's use in terms of how have you seen use of Unlock been going for the most part? Does it seem to, do you feel like the protocol is getting more popular?
Yeah, we're definitely at an inflection point. Like, we're seeing a lot more usage over the last few even weeks at this point. Tickets for events are actually sold through Unlock, which I think is cool. Like, you're a member of the event and you can actually attend because you have the NFT in your wallet. We're seeing a bunch of integration in different websites like media sites, like WordPress blogs, more and more of these. We're seeing people starting to put video content behind locks, which I think is actually cool. Like, you can, similar to the music one that I demoed, right? You can watch kind of half of the tutorial and you unlock the rest of the tutorial, which I think is actually a pretty cool use case as well. Yeah, we're seeing more and more of these things. Some person in our community actually built something called Dinner DAO, which I think is, Claire's idea of doing a membership DAO is kind of doing like that. So it's basically in a bunch of cities, you can join the Dinner DAO by purchasing the membership to the DAO. And then you vote exactly what Claire described earlier, using snapshots on where you're going to have lunch or dinner. I think more than lunch, it's called Dinner DAO, together with the other DAO members. And I think that's actually a pretty powerful idea. It really allows people to create these kind of almost like meetup groups with membership fee, and then use the fees as a treasury that the group can then use to do whatever it wants. Makes sense?
So in terms of now you were kind of mentioning before NFTs and lending, or would you mind kind of going a bit more into that? You said one case for Unlock was that you've been seeing when it comes to, I guess, NFTs and lending. I may have heard you wrong.
Yeah, so we are not seeing a lot of that. There's not a lot of people leveraging the lending aspect, but the core idea of lending an NFT is that you want to have somebody own the NFT that is a different person from the person who can transfer the NFT. And so the idea is like, or actually, are you talking about borrowing against an NFT or lending an NFT to somebody else? Hello?
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Okay.
Cool. Is there any other question?
there a Discord link?
Yes, you can find it on the website. I'll try to post it if I can. Try to post in the chat. Cool. I just posted it. Yes. Oh, actually, no, it was two. Sorry. Everyone in the meeting. Here. Boom. Cool.
Thank you.
Well, it was great meeting you all. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on some of the links. Discord is a good way, or Julian51 on Twitter, or Unlock Protocol on Twitter. Feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer any question and provide help. We actually have a grants program, which is a way for people who want to build cool integrations to earn some of our governance token and join the governance, join the DAO to vote on different things. If you get a chance and you're interested in applying for something, please do. Yes. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time, and I'll see you all online.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julian, for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. You know, and yeah, so and once again, yeah, you can just go on to all the links that were just kind of posted on there, and you can also join EthBuilders Slack. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and thank you, Julian, once again.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Julian.
Bye,
Awesome
everyone.
stuff.